everyone, my name is Keely. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today we're going to talk about all the books that I want to read in August, my August TBR. So I used to not be a TBR person, but then I started making lists on my phone of books that I wanted to get to and check them off, and I was like, this is a TBR, so why not make TBR videos? And I've also never been one to watch TBR videos, but now I do, and so maybe I'm becoming a TBR girl. We'll see. I'm also working on completing series this year, or finishing series that I've been reading for so long. So that leads me into the first book on this TBR, and that is Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. This is book 5 in the Throne of Glass series. If you aren't aware, Throne of Glass, the first book, follows a girl named Selena Sardathian, and she has been in Indivir prison for a few years, and she is taken out of prison to be in a competition to become the king's assassin, the king's champion. Like I said, this is the 5th book, so the storyline has taken off from there. It is nothing like Assassin Selena anymore, which I dearly, dearly miss. The first book is actually my favorite in the series, and as we continue on, I am liking the books less and less, and these books are pretty big. And so it's really difficult for me to want to pick them up, because the one before this, Queen of Shadows, I gave 3 stars and I wasn't a huge fan of. There are some characters in here that I really do not like, and my favorite characters just aren't given the love that they deserve. But yeah, 5th book, I have reread the first 4 books in the series so many times, and like I said, I recently reread Queen of Shadows, but this will be the first Throne of Glass book that I have not read yet, so this will be a first time read for me. Hopefully I can get through it quickly, but Queen of Shadows reread took me forever because I just realized how much I did not like the later books, but I really need to finish Throne of Glass because I've been reading it for so many years. Another book series that I am trying to complete this year is The Unwind Dystology, and this is book 4, Undivided by Neil Shusterman. And I have actually read the entire series, but I am currently rereading all of them, and this is the last one I need to reread. So this book is a dystopian. This whole series is a dystopian series, and we follow a few kids. Our main kid that we follow is Connor, and in this world, your parents can sign an unwind order, which basically means that you get your body torn about piece by piece, and they essentially get donated to others. And so if your parents don't want you anymore, they can just sign this order and they take you away. You have several surgeries and you basically no longer exist, but technically you're still alive, and that's how they justify it. But this is the 4th book in the series. I really love all the characters so much, and I was worried upon rereading that it wouldn't hold up, but I think it holds up so well. And the reason this is on the TBR to complete is because the one book I haven't completed is the short story collection Unbound. So if I am able to finish Undivided, I might sneak in Unbound on my TBR, so this is a tentative addition to my TBR. It depends if I get through all the other books, but once I complete these 2, then the Unwind Dystology will finally be completed for me. So the next book is for the Buzzwordathon, and if you're not aware, the Buzzwordathon is a year-long readathon hosted by Kayla from Books and Lala. Basically, every month there is a prompt, and all you really have to do is read one book to match that prompt. So the prompt for August is to read a book with an item or an object in the title, and I'm going to be reading the 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow, because doors is an object, so it fits with it. I've also had this book on my TBR for a few years now, and I've never got to it. I remember being so excited when it first came out, and I just never picked it up. So now, hopefully, I will finally read it. I know that we follow a girl named January, and she discovers a book in a library, and I think the book somehow intertwines with her life. So any book about books I am definitely intrigued with, and I haven't heard the best things about this, but a lot of times my opinions differ from others, so hopefully that's the case with this one. The next book I want to finish is Zyla and Kai by Christina Forrest. I'm actually 17% of the way through this one already, but I'm hoping to finish it in August. So far what I know from this book is that we follow 2 high schoolers named Zyla and Kai, and they were once a couple and they have since broken up. But when they go on this school trip, Zyla and Kai go missing together, and that's all I know. So it seems like it's a romance with a mystery involved too. It's been interesting so far, and I'm definitely enjoying the writing style, so I'm excited to complete this one to see if I continue enjoying it. The next book is a sequel to a series that I really, really enjoyed, and that is The Merciless Ones by Namina Forna. This is the sequel to The Gilded Ones. So the first book follows a girl named Decca, and when she turns 16, she needs to participate in the blood ceremony that her village does to all the 16-year-olds, and if her blood is red when they cut her, then she will join the village, and if it is gold, then she is a monster. And of course her blood turns gold, so she is locked away in a prison, and when she is in prison, someone comes and talks to her and says, you can stay here and die, or you can join me and become a warrior. And I loved it so much. These covers just do the book so much justice because it is beautiful inside and out. Absolutely loved it, and I cannot wait to read the sequel because the first one was so crazy, and it is a fantasy book, and if you have been here for a little bit, fantasy is not my genre, but this is a fantasy series that I absolutely love. Now this next book will probably be on my TBR until the day I die, and that is The Stand by Stephen King. So I am currently reading all of his books in chronological order by publication, and this is the 6th book of his, and I have been reading it for a year. Yes, that's right. I started this in July 2021, so I've been reading it for an entire year, and I am 650 pages in, so I still have 500 pages left. My problem is, I know that if I sit down and read this, I could knock it out so quickly, but I'm also like, in the time it takes me to read this one book, I could read 3. So that's where my problem lies. This is also extremely character-filled. So let me tell you what The Stand is about if you don't know. So we are in a world where a pandemic happens and people start dropping dead, and basically the end of the world happens. Then we have people that start dreaming of 2 different people. There's a very old woman who is the symbol for good, and then there's a man they call the Dark One who is the symbol for evil. So I think this is going to turn into a fight of good versus evil, and I really wish that it was just a pandemic story because the parts that involve like the apocalypse are so cool, and then we get to the part of like good versus evil, I'm like, okay, like I don't really care that much. There are so many characters in this, I have no idea who is who. I'm 650 pages in, and I could not tell you one single character. I have no idea. But I am going to complete it, and I'm going to work my way through it. Hopefully this is the month I finish it, but don't be surprised if you see it on TBRs for months to come. So the last 2 books we're going to pick, I'm actually going to draw a name out of these 2 little jars. So this is like my little butterbeer ice cream cup, and this is a little wooden jar thing that I got in Haiti, and they have different books in them. So this one has books from the top shelf of my TBR, and this one has books from my NetGalley shelf. Now I have so many books that I need to read from NetGalley that I have resulted in having to make a draw out of it because I am not reading them quick enough. So these are actually the 10 oldest books on my NetGalley TBR. And like I said, these ones I'm trying to read my TBR down shelf by shelf, and so these are all the books that are on that first shelf. So we're gonna go ahead and pick from my physical TBR first and see what I get. So this is the one I picked. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? I don't know if that will focus. It's not gonna focus. It literally says The 10,000 Doors of January, which is already on my TBR. So does that mean I need to pick another one? I think it does. I don't think this is fair. We're gonna pick another one. Second chance. Let's see if I get another one this time. Let's see. The thing is, this top shelf is like all long fantasy books, which I'm so scared of. So let's see. Oh my gosh, I really don't want to start a new series, but this is what we're gonna have to deal with. Let me get the book and I'll show you. Alright, so the one that I picked from my TBR shelf jar is Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. Now, this is actually pretty lucky because it's not the longest fantasy I own, but let me see, I've had this on my shelf for a while. So we follow a girl named Safia who is a truth witch, which means she can discern truth from a lie. And then we also follow Iseult, which is a thread witch, and she can see the invisible ties that bind and entangle the lives around her. And I believe these 2 are best friends, and things get witchy. That's all I know. So as far as fantasy goes, this is probably not the worst one to pick, especially because I do have some longer fantasy on this TBR already. But yeah, I've had this one for years, so I guess it's about time I finally read it. Alright, now my little wooden jar. This isn't really a jar. I don't know what to call it, but we're going to take the lid off, and I'm going to pick one. Let's see, this is the one. And my NetGalley book is A Wicked Magic. Let me see who this is by. Alright, so Wicked Magic is by Sasha Lawrence, and this is what the cover looks like. And I'm just going to read you the tagline of what Goodreads says. It says, "The chilling adventures of Sabrina meets the craft when modern witches must save teens stolen by an ancient demon in this YA fantasy thriller debut." So another witchy book. What are the odds that like the 2 books that I pull are witch books? But yes, this is a YA witch book, and the cover is interesting. This one came out in 2020, and I still haven't read it from NetGalley, so once again, I'm hoping this will help me read more of my NetGalley books that are very, very backlisted. So those are all the books that I have planned to read for August. I know there's going to be other things that come up. You know, library holds always come in at the most inconvenient time, so I know that's going to happen because I have a lot that are about to be ready. So we'll see if I get through all of these books. It's not a problem if I don't. Maybe one day I'll have like a punishment thing. I also really would like to introduce a TBR game, but I don't know how to be original. You know, there's so many TBR games out there, so I don't know how to come up with my own. But that is it for this video. Let me know if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them. I am nervous. These are big books because I usually don't read a lot of big books. Not that I'm opposed to them, I'm just slightly scared of them. And if you have made it this far in the video, please leave a penguin emoji in the comments because penguins are my favorite animal. But thank you so much for watching to the end. All of my social media links will be down below as always, but that is it for this video. Thank you. Bye!